Hello, Noelia. We are live.
Hello, Anna. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody who's joining. We just discovered that this tool has some, like, when we do different gestures, it kind of pops in surprisingly. Either fireworks, I saw some bubbles at some point, very confusing, but entertaining.
Yeah, nice.
I was thinking, Noelia, like, do I have the courage to do this in Spanish, this session with you in Spanish? But no, I don't have the courage. A la próxima, ¿sí?
Don't worry. Next time, a la próxima. I will try to do my best with the English.
No, it's helping me, but I do want to push myself. I do want to challenge myself, and I think you are a very good speaker and orator in Spanish as well. So hopefully next time we can
We'll
offer that
try.
to the Spanish audience. How have you been?
Fine. We are almost on vacation period and with a lot of projects that we are finishing and planning the next project in September. But busy but happy at the same time.
Very good. Very good to hear. I know it's been a difficult period for a lot of boot camps and a lot of alternative educational programs
Yes.
throughout Spain, but throughout Europe as well, US, of course. So I'm happy to hear good news and good kind of hopeful planning for Q4. I just met your colleagues actually in Madrid last week.
Yeah, I know.
So that was really nice. I visited the offices over there.
Yes. And I saw a picture also. It's the same. The office is the same design that we have in Barcelona. So you were in Barcelona 2 months ago. So
Yes. Amazing. Hello, everyone who's joining us today on this live. Thank you so much for signing up, being interested in the theme that we want to approach today. So, most of the conversation will be revolved around the digital transformation and upskilling of talent in this area. We see a lot, especially from the European Union, European Commission, so much funding somehow allocate or promised to digital upskilling. The digital gap is getting bigger. We do have some serious issues if we want populations to be ready for the future of work and for a work that is more and more digitalized and more automated. And Noelia here is not necessarily just involved just in that, but has such a wide perspective throughout the social impact work that you've done. So I'm very, very happy to have you with us today.
thank
Um,
you. I'm happy to be here. Also.
I am waiting for the juicy stories of where things are going well, where things are not going so well, and how this community can benefit from being, first of all, informed and aware of some opportunities that we have as a community and as an ecosystem, but also how they can maybe tap into organizations like Factoría F5. We have a couple of people dialing in. Lynn, thank you so much for saying hi. Everybody who is online now, do say hi in the chat. We'll try to highlight, of course, everybody joining us, but prepare questions. I think this is the opportunity for us to create a conversation. So I'm very happy to relay these questions live as we go through our session. Nelia, for those who don't know you, maybe let's do a quick introduction and then we'll dive into the meat of things.
Okay, so I am Noelia Torres. I am the CEO of Factoría F5. Factoría F5 is an NGO, a non-profit organization that was born in 2018, and we work in order to give opportunities, training and job opportunities to people with less in vulnerable situation, with less opportunities in the field of technology, with trying to achieve a big social impact in terms of job placement for this person who participate in our training.
Amazing.
And I've been working during more than 20 years in the social field. I can explain a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would actually love that. I would think your journey really goes across, as you say, more than 20 years of social impact leadership. I think you could have gone in any direction. You could have chosen any mission for yourself, right? But you chose Factoria F5, at least for the past couple of years. What key moments, what type of experiences have guided you to focus specifically on tech education as this vehicle for social transformation. This is how I see it. This is what I hear from your teams. Everybody's very much on the mission of using technology as a tool, almost, right? As a channel for people to transform their lives, their communities, their opportunities, their future generations. So in your journey as a social impact leader, why this particular domain?
Yeah. So thank you for this question because it's very important for me this moment in my life when I decided to start working in Factory F5 because I've been always involved in social projects as a volunteer but also
Mhm.
in a professional way. Can you hear me
I
fine?
can hear you very well. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So, because I don't know, I come from a social disadvantaged neighborhood in Barcelona, in the surroundings, and all my family, my friends, my neighbors also always have been really involved, engaged with social challenges, and I got awareness since I was really young about the difficulties that many people have to reach opportunities.
Yeah.
And I've been working in the last in a lot of organizations, public administrations, NGOs, companies, private companies, always in social projects.
Mhm.
The last period before starting Factory 5, I was working with women victims of gender violence and
Mhm.
human trafficking in a comprehensive social program, and I was fine there. I learned a lot. It was a very important period also in my life. But I find out by chance Factory F5. I didn't know anything
Mhm.
about this project
Mhm.
after the pandemic in 2021. Factoría 5 was in a very at the beginning, in an initial moment, it was created that year, and I was impressed by the social impact of this project. It was giving opportunity in the technology sector to people in disadvantaged social situation, people that normally when they go to social services, social NGO, they are encouraged to go to other kind of trainings, like I don't know,
Mm.
gathering, cleaning, things like this. But
Mm.
it's important, and it's important also, and are very important jobs. But
Yeah.
why to mm, close the door to a sector that is so important for the future and it's giving so good opportunities? So I fell in love with the project
Mhm.
because at that time I think more or less 80% of people that finish the 6 months intensive bootcamp training, they found a job in the tech sector as a web,
Mhm. Mhm.
for example, in that period.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, it's very innovative project and disruptive project. And that was
And
5 years ago. And now I'm still happy with that decision to make that change and help to Factoría 5 to grow and to, because at that time was very small project in Barcelona. Now it's a big organization with 3 schools in Spain, Madrid, Barcelona, and Asturias in the north. And well, we have a lot of also challenges as all the NGOs, but have a very solid already position in Spain.
I fell in love with the project too. That's why we're here. That's why we were also partnering for the Fair Barcelona conference. Again, thank you so much for being part of this kind of big European journey that we're on as well. For me, when you were just speaking, I'm thinking this reality that the institutions sometimes are somehow the first to not trust the potential of people from disadvantaged backgrounds. First of all, as you say, instead of giving people who would need an upskilling or a next opportunity or conversion type of access, they are not giving the whole catalog of opportunities. They're already kind of putting people in some boxes and saying, okay, you come from this type of neighborhood, this type of background, this type of educational history, therefore you can only do that. And I think organizations like yours are throwing everything out the window. And I
Mhm,
saw, and on top of this idea of like the institutions being the first to mistrust,
mhm,
I was at one of your events a couple of weeks ago at
mhm, in Barcelona.
yes, in Barcelona, but at the energy company.
Endesa, Endesa.
Endesa, correct. And I loved the story of one of your participants who, for those listening, I think you're going to find it funny as well, a little bit, but it's funny, sad,
Mm,
because she's expressed it in a way, not even my husband or my family had confidence in me kind of being able to, one, complete a 6 months boot camp in technology on a very specific topic,
mm,
and even less actually activating in that field afterwards. And she was telling the story how she just wanted to contribute more to her family's financial situation and to the stability that they would have. And now she's out earning almost everybody in her family just because she did the boot camp. She had patience, she had a bit of luck. Of course, you need a bit of a combination of all those things, but you need to start somewhere. And I think you're giving that start to a lot of people. I think 2,000 people already have done
mm,
the courses.
mm, Yeah, almost 2,000 people, yes.
So
Yes, there are plenty of stories like that. I think it was Gabriela that she said that now she's earning more than her husband. So her husband didn't believe that. No? And
yes,
people
yes, yes.
that when they told us that when they first went to social services institution, they told them, the only here in Spain you are migrant, you are refugee, so you can work cleaning houses, and
Mhm.
that's all. But
Yes.
also it's a job cleaning houses, but it seems that we are keeping the precarious jobs for precarious people, and we don't break these stereotypes sometimes. You know? And it's important to take awareness of that and fight against these stereotypes because we are losing a lot of talent closing these doors.
And we're struggling. Each economy now is saying that they predict a very big gap in the roles that will go unfilled for years just because we did not educate enough talent in the lower parts of the kind of educational system, but also reconversions, upskilling, reskilling. Tell me more about the programming impact, because you have a couple of very specific program within the big program. So you have web development, you have AI, you have cloud computing, you have a bit of cybersecurity, as far as I understand. You're building more in your catalog. Do you have some specific examples that you can share with us? Like, what are some of these employment opportunities, employment outcomes for your graduates?
Yeah, as you said at the beginning, the main training was web development.
Mhm.
100% of our training was web development. But 1 year and a half, 2 years and a half ago, the market started to change because there were other technologies coming up, like in artificial intelligence or security. So we thought we need to diversify, to adapt to our training offer because our mission is if there are opportunities in artificial intelligence, job opportunity, we have to find a way to give also this opportunity for people with talent but without the social opportunities.
Yeah.
So now we have a lot of type of training with a lot of also success cases. I remember, for instance, a guy that was from a disadvantaged community. He was gypsies. He was a guy without, I think, the secondary school
Mhm.
finish. And he did the training of artificial intelligence with us. And he told me all my teachers and social workers told me that I also could work in a supermarket because I'm a disaster. I can, but he was really interested by computer. He was the guy that was always in his room playing with the computer. So he, after the training, now he's working in a startup, but it's not a startup anymore because the
Mhm.
company that has increased a lot as well, and he has a really good job and a good salary with his family. And also
Amazing.
that woman that I said before, she was a migrant people, refugee people from a person with from Venezuela. She was married and she was a widow. She lost her husband and she
Mhm.
was living in a room with her son.
Yeah.
she was working cleaning houses, and she did the training cleaning houses from
Mhm.
6 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock in the morning. Then she started the training. Our training is more or less 7, 8 hours a day.
Yeah, it's full day.
It's full day, it's like a job, but she was working at the very beginning in the morning, and then she was doing the training, being a mom, a single mom because she didn't have a husband, and now she has a very good job in an international technology company. She could buy a house, a car, or she could go to Venezuela with her son to visit her family. And
Mhm.
it is a complete change of life of these people. And this, our work, I always say to my team, what we do is not easy. It's easy to find the money, to find the people, to convince institutions, to convince also the companies that
Mhm.
diversity and our talent is they are really good professionals and employees. But at the end of the day, is the social impact that we achieve is a huge motivation to wake up every
Yeah.
morning and to keep working in that.
And I think when you put that perspective of there are these people who are able to commit such a big change in their life, and if they can do that, then the rest should be the easy part. I do
Definitely.
I do recognize there is a certain difference when it comes to attracting students who are, as you say, maybe women, single mothers, this kind of gender gap in one, the society accepting that these women from a background of domestic violence, migration, asylum seekers, etc., versus men from similar backgrounds would have the opportunity to go in the tech direction and be good at it and be employable and kind of succeed. I
Mhm.
think a lot of schools don't focus so much, and I feel that Factory F5 is really focusing on having a gender balance within the student group and student cohorts, which
Mhm.
is great because teams should be diverse. So people get the chance to work very much as diverse teams from the get-go when they try to penetrate this industry. But
Mhm.
I know it's a bit harder to one attract and then keep
Mhm.
women in the program versus men, let's say men in the program. What do you think you're doing different? What do you think your team is so good at having this sticky factor?
Yeah, I have to say that when I started working in Factory F5 in 2021, we were like a other technology school with just
Mhm.
20% of women in the training. That
Yeah.
was just 5 years ago. So we started a project called Femcoders. It
Mm.
was a project that was selected by Google organization in the call for proposals, Google Challenge for impact for women and girls, and we won that call. We were one of the 34 selected projects of more or less 1,000 projects that applied for that call,
Mm.
and we started to do a course 100% for women in different cities of Spain. And that was like, like I don't know if it's in English is the same, like a before and after in our
Mhm.
history, because we find out that we have learned a lot. It's not just a cohort of women, but we adapt all the training. The timetable, the schedule, also we take care of the needs that the women have. For example, if they have to take care of their children, the vacations of the school, and so on. And we promote this kind of network among women through other role models, women that are in technology, and they come to the training to do master classes about the imposter syndrome, about the importance to keep this network very, very strong to help each other once they started working in the tech sector. So already we have trained more than 500 women just in
Mhm.
course, 100%
Mhm.
for women. And our cohorts that are blended for women and girls, we always get this five, 50% of women and
Yeah.
50% of men, because it was it wasn't a one shot.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Let's do one cohort of women. No, it's been like a bet of the organization. We have to be a place for women to learn safety, to increase the I don't know self the confidence of women, the
Yeah.
individual empowerment and we, for instance, we didn't have women teachers. All our
Mm,
teachers were men, so it's not consistent.
yeah.
We needed to attract women also to become teachers of Factoría 5, and we accompany women in Factoría 5 that maybe they were before students to
Yeah.
help them to become a teacher through a specific training to be a teacher of technology. And now we have more women teachers than men teachers in Factoría 5. So it's something that you have to work a lot, and many organizations as a Factoría 5. How do you do to the
Yeah.
same question you made? What do you do to have so many women in our training? And we always say the same. It's not one shot. It has to be a bet and to devote a lot of efforts to to bring the gender perspective in everything you do. We do also gender workshops perspective
Mhm.
men in our training for men
Yeah.
teachers because they have to work with this perspective in a field like technology where just one of four professionals in the sector are women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
75% of the employees in the tech sector are men.
Here in Spain. I love that. And I feel for you that you have gathered this knowledge through, hitting the wall sometimes, failing at attracting the people that you wanted to attract, creating maybe frustration with your employers, with your different clients, but you learned and now you have a bit of a blueprint. So I just took some notes because I feel anybody who's listening to us and is trying to create an upskilling program, whether it is internal for your organization, and you see that consistently you are not able to attract women in the programs, you are not able to keep them as long as you would other categories. What I'm hearing is, first of all, building equity within the program and understanding the different needs. And maybe, as you are mentioning here now, the first big need was an alternative type of schedule, because we all know women have a lot of maybe small and many tasks during the day, especially if they are caregivers, especially if they are doing multiple type of jobs at the same time, paid or unpaid. I want to be very specific here. So adapting that program and giving that opportunity. Two, creating this feeling of collective effort. We are in this together. There is a tribe that I'm joining. There is a group of other people that are more or less in the same situation that I am. I can find inspiration, backup, support, a bit of psychological safety. Three, you mentioned a bit of the work on this confidence gap, especially when you bring people from minority backgrounds. I think that is definitely overall a confidence gap. But for women, it's like times two or times three. So we need to work on that. And then training the men as well, the teachers that you involve, even if you don't have maybe a diverse cohort of teachers, you can educate teachers to understand what are maybe some teaching differences, some situational differences, some language differences, right? When it comes to explaining, giving feedback, creating an inclusive environment. So for me, you already have the blueprint. Everybody who needs to do more on this, reach out to Noelia for this kind of framework. I think we've seen it work. Yes, it takes time to get there, but now you're there. It's more easy than at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, of course. We sometimes many organizations told us to help them to
Hmm.
participate in panels talking about our experience
Hmm.
in having more women in our training, and we do it because it's part of our mission. We are very happy to if we can help other organizations to promote some kind of initiative and tools and strategies to get more women. So
Yeah.
thank you, Anna.
That's I mean, again, it's not rocket science, but you kind of need to do it consistently, right, throughout your different cohorts, throughout your different agreements with your students, with your partners, to make sure that you have the mentors that are also coming from diverse backgrounds, and there is a certain sensitivity to it. Speaking about partnerships, you work with a variety of different industries, social sectors. What's the ecosystem of partners that Factoría F5 has in order to be able to provide this service?
Yeah, well, we always say that we like to define ourselves like a bridge between the social and the technology sector. We work really closely with social NGO that are working with people with disadvantaged backgrounds and disadvantaged social situations. With a lot of NGOs that we have to help them to identify this hidden talent because the social workers, the social educators, sometimes they don't even know what is
Yeah,
a job in a tech company. So we have to train them to help them to, well, this is a kind of job that people without knowledge but with inclusive training could do. So we are belonging to different association of NGOs in Spain and also in Europe. Uh, from other side, we are really close to companies because it's very important for us to have this continuous contact with companies to get to know which are the updates of the market and to be able to adapt our training and also to convince them that one of the topic of the in the conference in fair culture, how to convince the managers
yeah,
that they have to be open to other kind of talent if they want to incorporate diversity in the teams and which are the positive impact that diversity can have in the teams, in the product, and at the end in the technology. So we belong to different networks of companies, of tech companies, like a strategy to stay close to them and to get to know how the trends of the market, but also to be able to involve them in our projects through different corporate volunteer activities. For instance,
mhm,
they can come to our training to do master classes about human resources, but also about a tech topic as well. And it's a way to get to know our talent and to lose the this fear that they can have when they have at the end to hire people for other backgrounds. No?
yeah.
So it's very important for us to have a diverse ecosystem in our day to day in the social field, but also in the private and technology field. In
If
also
you
in
if you
our team in
if you
Factoría F5,
can, yeah,
yes.
tell me.
Yes, to finish, in Factoría 5, in our team, we have people with different social but also professional background. We have people that come from the social experience and careers and technology and education, and we suffer sometimes the difficulties to deal with the diversity. But on the other hand, is wow, super richness, it's very rich and valuable to have this diversity in the team and to promote the innovation and also the positive resolution of the conflict. And we are really happy also, and it's something consistent for us.
It's a fragile ecosystem, considering you kind of in a way depend, right, on the NGOs being effective and bringing people to you, motivating, creating a certain conversation, that part of the bridge. And on the other side of the bridge, you have organizations that need to allocate budgets, they need to allocate mentors, they need to allocate also maybe a certain communication plan, right, and an internal education of their hiring managers, of their leaders, to understand how they collaborate with organizations like yours or other NGOs. And it's a bit fragile, I find it, especially in the times that we are
Yeah.
in now. I have two tricky questions for you. You answer, or if you want, or if you don't want, no worries. We're gonna gloss through over them. But One, how does 2025 look for you in terms of you are there to serve a very kind of clear social impact mission, but a lot of the employers are contracting their budgets, are contracting their,
Mm.
not, I wouldn't say interest, that's not what I've seen, but definitely budgets and time and resources allocated for this. What's your insight?
Well, it's not very good, the insight that
Mhm.
we have for this year, because I didn't tell you that, but our budget, our funds are private and public.
Yeah.
And private funds come from technology, important technology, but because they have funds for social projects, for diversity and inclusion policies, and to collaborate with the non-profit ecosystem. But some technologies are cutting these funds because of the international situation that,
Yeah.
especially in the US, that the government said that the companies don't have to waste money in social and inclusive projects,
Mhm.
because the only mission of the companies is to make money, and
Yeah.
that's all. So I didn't lie you. We had some bad news at the beginning of the year with some important technology companies. I won't say the name, but
Yeah.
on the other hand, in my team, because we are a very flexible and proactive team, we said, oh, we need to have a plan B. So
Mhm.
we are trying to develop new services, new strategies to get money to
Mhm.
to bring to our mission at the end.
Mhm.
Other kind of services that we can do with companies, with NGOs, because we cannot depend on the
Yeah.
collaboration of the tech companies so far, because
Yeah, definitely.
and also the European Commission, some projects now they are not cutting completely, but reducing some funds, because this kind of percent that they have to allocate
Allocate to defense.
for
Mhm.
defense instead of social projects, because at the end the number they have to the same number. So we had some bad news also from the European Commission because of the defense
Mhm.
strategy.
Mhm. Mhm. So we are in a moment where this particular balance is shaky, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. But
Sure.
you still have some partners that are in it with you. All
Mm-hmm.
some of them I saw from Endesa, like from day one. Can we name a couple of other partners that you have and you work with, and they're really present in your mission? I would like to recognize them. I would like
Yeah.
to make sure that they have the visibility as well. For some organizations who are dedicated, their mentors, the time, the resources, sometimes also offering job opportunities to your students. If we can mention a few, I would love to kind of highlight who they are.
Okay. So from private companies, technology
Mhm.
companies, we are very grateful with Microsoft, because we are working in the regions where Microsoft has its data center. They are developing a lot of community projects. So
Yeah.
we have a strong alliance with Microsoft, also with Capgemini.
Mhm.
Capgemini from the very beginning in 2022 is helping us through a collaboration in the north of Spain and with the Artificial Intelligence School in Madrid. And this commitment is still available today. And other companies like Pluxee or Sage, for example, they
Amazing.
are helping us with specific programs.
Well done to some of these. I mean, some of them are, with American headquarters, so they're keeping to their commitments, even if there is a certain, US headquarters, which they are keeping some of their commitments, and it's great to see, but also some of the local ones, which, one, have benefited so much from this type of programs themselves, right? And they can see the reason to continue. That being said, there is still a certain scaling challenge, right? If organizations like yours, if your philosophy is, let's touch as much students as possible, let's incorporate as many people who would be interested, giving them this type of quality education in a field that is in the highest demand, while keeping things personalized and personal almost, right? Like each person has its own need to have maybe a coach, a mentor beyond the actual skill, but to navigate interviews, to create network in this field, to kind of enter a field that is completely unknown to them. Is there a call to action that we can make to this community that is listening to us? Like, can we support in any way? Can we be part of your journey in making this impact as
Yeah.
wide as you want?
Well, definitely. First of all, as you said, our project, our mission is to enlarge the opportunities as much as we can in Spain so far.
Yeah.
So, one thing that is good that we have is our methodology, because our training, we have a pedagogical partner that is Simplon in France, and they have a very package methodology that it's easy to scale up, because
Mm,
all the trainings have the same roles: the trainer, the co-trainer, the source, the coach that you mentioned. But so it's easy pedagogically to scale up. Of course, in the team, it has been a challenge, because some people sometimes it's not possible to grow and to keep the essence of the project. So we make an effort to keep this balance between the growth and the essence of the project, and also to promote a lot of quality process certifications to ensure the quality of all the training, no matter if you are in Madrid or in Barcelona. We wanted to ensure the same level of quality. But it's true what you mentioned. If we grow, we need to have more companies to participate in the master classes, for instance, like a volunteer. Because one of the aspects that we want to keep in our training is to have, from the very beginning, this contact, the core with the companies, with
mhm.
professionals of the tech company, through master classes, to visit to companies, to mentorship with like mentoring and so on. So as much as we grow, we need more more volunteers from companies, and this is a challenge. That's why we have created also this year a service in our in Factoría F5 to have this relationship with companies, because so far it was more like, informal. I have a
Yeah.
volunteer that can participate in this call, okay. But now we think that we it's a must to have this service to companies that want to make a volunteer in Factory 5. So we have a service, a department inside the NGO to organize and coordinate this kind of activities. That is an important value for our trainings, to have this kind of collaborations.
Yeah. Okay. So for those listening, if you have colleagues in your department that can allocate 3-5% of their time a month for this type of mentoring activities, I think one, you learn a lot about these communities. You learn a lot about the needs that these type of very eager students with a lot of let's say life and work experience, but not necessarily in tech. They are upskilling very fast, so they can bring a lot of transferable skills from their previous careers, from their previous work, and also kind of I would say give the opportunity for those inside the organizations to practice their coaching skills, their presentation skills, their teaching skills, uh, and give back also a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I am starting to lose you a little bit. I have a small delay. I hope this is not seen on the live. For those still with us, please let us know if you see any small delay. So I will probably try to speak a bit slower so I make sure we don't overlap. But usually on the live, it should be fine. But just let us know, Paula, Lynn, if you're still there, whoever is listening, and ask Noelia some questions. We have some time. I'm getting into the curricula part. So I think for us, Noelia is working in tech for so long myself. I have seen things change so much. So there was also this big challenge for a lot of people who would, let's say, leave the technical field for maternity leaves, for sickness, for a break, and then wanting to come back, let's say 2, 3 years later, a lot of things would have been very different. And I am curious, in your kind of curriculum and the way you create your programs, how do you keep focus on what is future need versus, let's say, now? As you were saying, you started with pure web development. It was very much in high demand 5, 6 years ago in the Spanish market. Now you're moving already towards AI and other things. How do you plan to ensure somehow that your cohorts, your programs are adapting? What technologies do you want to focus on more? Maybe this is also how we attract some mentors in those specific areas.
Yeah, well, okay, now I had trouble with the microphone. So for us, it's very important to have this contact with companies and to get to know which technologies are coming in the future, in the next future. That's why we belong to different international networks with other organizations that are doing the same that we are doing in Factoría, but maybe they are in France, in Belgium, in Germany, and we can have this information about what is going on regarding technology in other countries. But also we have in our strategic plan the KPI to have at least one interview with companies every month, different important companies that are reference in technology to have this information about what is going on, their perspective. I have to say that sometimes when you talk to a person in a tech company, they think about an idea of the future, and or another person think another thing completely different. Sometimes it's good to hear, but at the end it's our team that have to do this exercise to analyze which information do you we have in the table, what are the needs of our students, and what is possible to do to have success. Because there are some technologies that are quite complicated that is difficult to teach from zero, as we do. And in Factoría F5, so far, we ran the artificial intelligence school in 2022, when the artificial intelligence wasn't so, on the agenda like today. So I think was a very important, good strategic decision that we did in 2022, because now we have uh, a lot of experience about this field, and we are doing a lot of projects regarding the artificial intelligence and also cybersecurity. We think that, especially in Spain, artificial intelligence and cybersecurity is a field with a lot of opportunities, with a lot of need or talent for the companies. They need to hire a lot of people, and they don't find people in the traditional sources like the university. So that's a point. We have to try to explain to the companies that if they want more talent, more diversity in the talent, they have to be open to other kind of sources, because at least in Spain, in the university, you don't have thousands of students every year to become part of the companies. So they have to also to try in the inclusive bootcamp for people that maybe they don't have a technology background, but they have other experience in other fields that can be also interesting and bring value to the company.
Yeah. And the reality is, universities, I think they are amazing, they're doing great, but they are very slow to update their curricula, right? So they cannot just wake up and say, hey, next year we're going to do this. They need a 3, 5 years planning to kind of create this at a national level or whatever level they have. But for your type of programs, the fact that you can decide for 2026 to fully go in more, let's say, aggressively towards cloud computing, cybersecurity, things that the market is asking urgently, not in 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So for you to kind of have this flexibility and opportunity, and all the boot camps like yours, I think this is quite generalized for any kind of alternative education. There is a more, let's say, faster response to market. And this is the big dislocation. I do some guest lecturing at the university here in Barcelona. And this is the biggest fear of the students. They are in their last year. They need to basically go through their exams and find jobs. And they feel that whatever they have been prepared on in school doesn't match the job offer and the market expectations. So Factoria organizations like yours can also just be a binding point, right? Even for those who exit a classical university degree, sometimes it's just hard to go and get the job because they don't necessarily have the full practical skills that are, let's say, more in demand. They have the generalist ones, and now we're going very specific in some professions. Do you see a certain, from your students, do you start seeing a preference? Where do they want to go? Are they informed, or you need to educate them on what is the market demand as well?
Well, for us, web development is something that they are really interested still, even if the market is changing, because it's you can learn a lot from zero. But what we do is we still do web development, but then we are to put in a lot of specialization after web development, and companies telling us that it's a good base to have web development studies in Java, Python, and then, but it's not enough. You can
Sure.
do web development training and then to do a specialization in artificial intelligence, cloud, cybersecurity, DevOps. So it's something that we are trying to change now. After the bootcamp, this kind of pathways, not just a bootcamp and that's all, but you can do
Yeah.
a pathway in Factory F5. Even you can come back if you can. We had
Sure.
some students that they started a job like web developers.
Hmm.
Uh, because some reason they were fired because of the market, they come back to Factory 5, they study cloud, and then they
Hmm.
they found another job in cloud, no, to
Yeah.
give this opportunity. But definitely now the boot camps where we have more demand when we open the inscriptions are artificial intelligence and then
Hmm.
web development.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm always curious. Like, we talk here and we kind of imagine things, and you build a program, but then you kind of need to be attentive and listen to what the students want, what the students actually feel that they are interested and motivated for. Because one of the key of success in doing this is to stay motivated. You need to be
Yeah.
motivated to apply and to kind of try this, but then you need to stay because it's hard. It can be very hard. There are a lot of tears, I think, for many people who go through this type of bootcamp because it is very, very challenging.
Yeah. In fact, in the
Beyond,
selection process, what we
uh-huh,
pay attention a lot is about the motivation.
yeah.
We don't matter if you have previous studies or whatever, but motivation is a must,
Mhm.
like you said, to start with us.
For sure. What, because we're here and we understand there is this particular need for technical skills in the market, but you working with such a wide variety of clients, I'm sure you also get to speak about what type of maybe mindsets or values does the market, do this type of clients appreciate in their fresh hires, in this type of students? What do you try to teach your students on top of the technical skills so that they are fully ready for the market?
Yeah, well, it's important what you said because I didn't mention that in all our trainings we have also a pathway in soft skills,
Mm,
communication, working teams, um, things like well, a lot of things regarding soft skills. But
mhm,
I have to say that for the companies, one of the things that they always mention when we talk about our students is the motivation,
mhm,
because and they are not they are really willing to learn, so they know that the technology you have to learn during all your life, so you don't have to be lazy to learn new things, so they are very very open to learn new stacks, new technologies.
mhm,
And the third thing that the companies always mention is that they are really loyal, that they don't leave
mm,
the companies easily,
mhm,
that they have
mhm,
an important problem with rotation, people that they change really easily
Mhm.
of job, and our students, they are so grateful that sometimes they don't change. They have a strong commitment
Mhm.
and loyal to the company, and this is something for the companies really important for,
Interesting.
because they invest also time and efforts to train these people in the onboarding, in additional training, and then it's important to keep the employee during long
Mhm.
time in the company.
I feel this is also a characteristic for the Spanish market or the global South market when it comes to this collectivist mindset of I help you, you help me, we're in this together, the good times, the bad times, the attitude of the appreciation for loyalty, the appreciation for commitment to one another. I think it's much more present in the southern cultures versus, let's say, the Anglo-Saxon cultures, where changing every year is not a problem, like we all do it. It's not an issue anymore. Maybe it was back in the day, but it has happened to become the norm almost. I think the average time to change jobs in tech, especially in Anglo-Saxon cultures, is like 1.4 1 year, 1 year and a half, right, maximum. And I think this is not
Wow.
appreciated here, as you're saying. This is the expectation is exactly the opposite. And I think this is good for people to know in this market if they come here, right? Like how not to sabotage your career.
Yes, definitely.
Noelia, it has been such an interesting conversation. I've learned a lot about the market. I've learned a lot about the ecosystem you find yourself into. I hope those who have listened to us today have also gotten a couple of nuggets of insights. We are almost on time, so I just want to make sure that if there is any question, shoot it now. I will see it and I will put it on the screen. But for us, Noelia, if we have this call again in 1 year time, what would be your ambitions from now to next July 2026 that we talk about? What should have happened? What type of achievements do you want Factoria F5? What type of achievements do you want to have in the market? What do you hope will happen maybe with the current situation economically, politically?
Yeah, it's well, it's a important question now, but we are working hard to scale up the artificial intelligence school, because so far we just have this training in Madrid, and it's
Yeah.
having really, really good results in terms of job placement. So we are working hard to scale up in Spain, the artificial intelligence school in other cities. Also to find a way to get sustainable, and we are working hard in that also to have
Mhm.
different services and lines to sell at the end products, and to get money for the mission, and not have don't have this high dependence of companies,
Mhm.
and to have a 100% of job placement of our students. We are working hard to get to have the best job placement indicator.
I wish you all the luck and all the energy and all the motivation and all the good karma. I know you already have the best team. So, hello to everybody who's listening from the team, Laya, Paola, to everybody. I think you definitely have the right people in there. I do appreciate you taking the time and speak to us today and bringing some insights and opening a little bit the box on what are the challenges, but how much potential there is for us to contribute to something so big, so important. So I want to thank you big time for making this session happen. I know we were delayed with it for maybe a couple of weeks, but now it's live and we're going to distribute it to the rest of our community. I really appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you, Juana. We are really grateful for the opportunity, for the time, and for us, we are happy to share with you and with all the community our experience and our thoughts about the market and diversity in the tech sector.
Amazing. We'll see you, everybody who's been dialing in or will listen to this episode asynchronous. we're going to take a break for August, and we will be back mid-September with some new Fair Dialogues guests, some amazing topics that have to do all about workplace inclusion, but also innovation, talent, future of work. We need to be on top of what is good looking like if we are looking at a talent that is including people, creating equity, and looking at not just the immediate week, but maybe the next 10 years when it comes specifically for people having access to the right opportunities. I wish you a beautiful summer, Noelia. We'll probably see you here
You
and
too.
there. And for everybody else, have a lovely rest of the day. Ciao, ciao.
The same for you. Ciao, ciao. Bye.